Vice President Kamala Harris paid tribute to former President Jimmy Carter, honoring his extensive legacy and enduring influence in a eulogy delivered on Tuesday, January 7. This came just 2 months after Carter cast his vote for her in the 2024 presidential election. Reflecting on her youth, Harris, who is 60 years old, shared, "I was in middle school when Jimmy Carter was elected president, and I vividly recall how my mother admired him. She admired his strength of character, honesty, integrity, work ethic, determination, intelligence, and generosity of spirit." Harris continued by highlighting Carter's significant contributions after leaving the White House. "We have heard much today and in recent days about President Carter's impact in the 4 decades after he left the White House. Jimmy Carter established a new model for what it means to be a former president and leaves an extraordinary post-presidential legacy." She praised Carter's achievements with the Carter Center and described him as a president ahead of his time for his comprehensive energy policy, environmental legislation, expansion of national parks, and the establishment of the Department of Education. Harris also acknowledged the diversity he brought to his administration. "He was a president who, between the years of 1977 and 1981, appointed more Black Americans to the federal bench than all of his predecessors combined and appointed 5 times as many women," she noted. And in the wake of Watergate, Jimmy Carter passed historic ethics legislation to help rebuild Americans' faith in government. Harris concluded her speech by emphasizing Carter's character. "Throughout his life and career, Jimmy Carter retained a fundamental decency and humility. James Earl Carter Jr. loved our country, he lived his faith, served the people, and left the world better than he found it. And in the end, Jimmy Carter's work and those works speak for him louder than any tribute we can offer. May his life be a lesson for the ages and a beacon for the future." Carter's remains arrived at the U.S. Capitol in Washington, D.C. on Tuesday afternoon, where he will lie in state until Thursday morning. A small service was held in his honor at the Capitol Rotunda, attended by the Carter family, members of Congress, Supreme Court justices, and various other officials. Harris was invited to deliver a eulogy alongside House Speaker Mike Johnson and Senate Majority Leader John Thune, both Republicans. President Joe Biden is expected to speak at the formal funeral service on Thursday. The Carter family openly supported Harris during her historic presidential campaign. According to relatives, President Carter expressed enthusiasm about the barrier-breaking vice president long before his passing on December 29. When Carter's son Chip asked him last year if he wanted to live until his 100th birthday, the former president replied, "I'm only trying to make it to vote for Kamala Harris," as recounted by his grandson Jason. Carter had been in hospice care for a year and a half at that time. Despite having good and bad days, as Jason Carter noted, the former president became more alert and interested in politics as the election approached. The former president fulfilled his final wish by casting an absentee ballot for Harris on October 16, which was later placed in a drop box at the Sumter County Courthouse. "I think he feels good," Chip said of his father, casting the ballot for Harris. "It was a good morning for him and good for us that he got it done." Earlier in the year at the 2024 Democratic National Convention, Jason shared why he and his grandfather supported Harris' presidential campaign. "Kamala Harris carries my grandfather's legacy," Jason said on stage. "She knows what is right, and she fights for it. She understands that leadership is about service, not about selfishness. That you can show strength and demonstrate decency, and that you can get a whole lot more done with a smile than with a scowl."